Hello, everyone. We've come to the end of the day. I welcome one and all to the session. I'm Caroline, your host, and I'm here to introduce to you our speaker, Sachin Kokane. He's going to present to us data purification and making the right decisions with single source of truth. Sachin Kokane is a business unit leader for data quality and master data management here at Chainsys and has vast experience of implementing complex ERP and MDM solutions successfully for many clients. His current focus is to enable clients implement right master data management strategy with appropriate data quality and governance framework specific to clients' system landscape and industry vertical. Please welcome Sachin.
Thank you so much, Caroline, and thank you everyone for joining this session. Today's topic is data purity and make the right decisions with a single source truth. So, as an agenda, we are going to look at what is data purity and what does it mean by making the right decision. What does single source of truth mean, and then how does that tie back to master data and master data management. We are also going to talk about the operating model through which you are going to actually implement the master data, and during that course, we will also understand why is it important, which aspects are important, so what are the best practices that you can implement when you go for your digital transformation, and how the data can serve as a fuel and not as a byproduct of your digital transformation. This session is for anyone who is having prior knowledge in the master data domain, as well as if you're a chief data officer, and or if you're a data stakeholders or data owners in your industry. Everybody has a link to master data, and this session hopefully will be able to help you understand the various framework or the various components of the MDM framework through which you can approach and add the value to your organization. With that, let me start first with let's break down our topic today into multiple different sections. So first is data purity, and what does that mean? So data means there can be two types of data in an organization. One is application or transactional data, and other part is the master data, and we're going to talk about that in more detail in some slides. And the purity means having the right quality of the data with the governance. So that goes back to getting the data clean as well as keeping it clean. And how does this helps us make the right decisions for your organization or business with the proper value proposition, business outcomes, as well as making your organization more data driven and with the vision of having maximum business impact with the help of your data. Now, this is all tied back again to single source of truth, because you need to have visibility of your master data across all the organization at one place. And I just want to borrow one quote from Albert Einstein's that I just came across a few days back. It says, "It can be scarcely be denied that the supreme goal of all theory is to make the irreducible basic element as simple and as few as possible without having to surrender the adequate representation of single datum of experience." What does this mean? Essentially is make the data elements simple but not simpler. So that means your data, you need to identify the basic elements of the data that has to be as few as possible, as simple as possible, not but should not be simplest. You should enrich that data to, and take the advantage of the data to fuel your organization or your business transformation. So as part of this particular session, we are going to focus mainly on master data, and that bring us to the topic of master data management. How is it a foundation for your digital transformation as well as getting your desired business out? So we are going to discuss about what is the data management framework, and there are two sides of it. One is the side which drives that framework, which is a data management strategy, which consists of data driven vision for your organization, your value proposition, what are the business outcome that you want to improve on, and then that will drive into the operating model of data management framework, which can consist of data ecosystem, what kind of architecture you have in your organization, both process wise as well as system wise, and what kind of delivery model that you need to implement to get the desired out. So this again expands to some of the very important features of data master data management, which we are going to elaborate in detail in the subsequent slides. So as of now, just consider this as master data management is driven by three basic pillars: people, process, and technology. And there is a reason why people is highlighted in a big circle here, because getting your organization or your stakeholders onboarded to this process is one of the important process of MDM implementation. Tied that to the process, and then ultimately last but not the least comes to technology part of it, which we are going to discuss as well. Which tool or which tool set will help you achieve those desired results. Again, this slide has too much into it, but we are going to break it down and go through each and every aspect as we move forward. All right, so let's first understand and get on the same page what is master data. Now, I know that some of you might already already know this, but this is basically just to get aligned. So master data is the data element in your organization which is consistent and uniform across your business processes or systems. It can be identified with some unique identifiers, as well as it can be attributed to as well. It is the most reference data in your organization. So you can say that it is like a 20% in volume, but it can be referred 80% of the time, and it can span across multiple domains. And that's how, just to give the so master data is like a data which can be reference data, but as against to the application or transactional data. So for example, customer versus orders. So customer becomes your master data and orders becomes your transactional data. As far as the master data is concerned, it can be broken down. It can have multiple domains. So some of the important domains are listed here, like customers, suppliers, or vendors, your product data, employee data, ledgers, that means your financial data, price box, bills of materials, address or locations or asset. Anything that you want to keep it consistent and it is not changing very frequently, that can be termed as a master data. Let's move on to why master data management is important. What is master data and why is it important? So just to define the master data, it is technologically enabled discipline where business and IT work together to ensure uniformity, accuracy, semantic consistency, and accountability of enterprise shared master data assets. So if you can notice here, business and IT both should work together to maintain this master data in your organization. That's how important it is. And again, going back to the same, those three pillars, it is based on people, process, and technology. Now, why people is because you need to engage the right business stakeholders to take care of the data. That comes with sponsorship as well, because MDM implementation needs some funding. You have to invest in MDM master data management. Then you need data owners and stewards to drive the governance for your data. To justify the master data implementation, you need to articulate the value for business output with the help of metrics or KPIs. And then that should tie back to your business outcomes or value proposition, or solving some of the major pain points in your organization. Again, master data management is not once done and forget kind of process. It is a continuous process of improvement. So you need to have programmatic approach to achieve the desired outcome. It is your time to value for that particular implementation depends on a robust MDM framework, which consists of multiple processes. And you should always consult or get help from the experts to understand and establish those processes along with the tool set. Again, the technology is will come at the end, but it is one of the most important part of master data management, because you need to have the tool set which can support multiple domains. You have to start small, but then you have to scale up to various different domains. You have to start with the domain which is most important to you, and then you should be able to scale up to the larger domains as with the help of same technology stack. So that's why it is very important. So now let's talk about why master data management is important. So as per the various surveys, it says that operational efficiency is one of the major driver factor to have the master data management in place. But apart from that, it can also help you get the business process outcomes that you desire. It can help you get the business process agility, so your processes can be more flexible and fluid. It enhances your decision making as well, and then of course it helps you with the compliance and risk management. Now ultimately all this tied up to the customers satisfaction for your organization with the help of customer relationship improvement, customer 360, as well as supplier relationship improvement as part of supplier 360. So if you see on the right hand side, we can build these hubs using as a single source of truth with the help of master data management, which can give you the complete end-to-end customer satisfaction or supplier satisfaction or product end-to-end solution with the help of master data management. Now we've established what is master data and what is master data management and why it is important. Let's look at what is the most programmatic approach to implement the MDM framework in your organization. So for that, I'd like to go back to our first slide where we look at what is the data strategy. How does the data strategy drives the operating model for MDM, and the data management framework, which sits in the middle, can be approached with as a step-by-step process from top down here, as mentioned. So we're not starting with the technology first. We always start with understanding the scope, which ties back to your vision and strategy. What are the important factors or business pain points that you want to solve as part of MDM implementation? So this is where you need to ask the question why and how, and that's when comes which MDM domains are most important. That would be part of scope. Then you need to be able to justify the MDM implementation. For that, you can use metrics or KPIs to measure the success and how to tie back your implementation approach or investment that you're making to the desired business outcome. Then again, this the next part goes without saying is organization and people. So people is the major pillar of any MDM implementation. You need to understand whether you need to restructure your organizational roles? Are you disrupting any business processes when you implement MDM? Then once you start building your structure, the governance is one of the most important feature as well as part of MDM implementation, because that will help you formalize the process, your data clean, and also keep it in checks so that you can always get the value of your data. Then ultimately you have to also set up some processes for people to follow, and that involves change management. And then ultimately it comes to the technology stack, which will help you design, not only design these processes, but keep them going after the implementation as well. So let's dive into each of these areas and see that what are the approaches to handle these steps one by one. So first of all, scope. So master data, which domains you're going to select, because master data setup is everywhere. As you can see, this is a typical manufacturing distribution organization process flows, wherein you can start from the product side, you can have finished goods, demand planning, inventory planning. Everywhere that you can see here, the green dots, everywhere there is a master data setup around product. Then if you go on the buying side of it, you will have customer master data, billing and order to invoice flows, as well as if you go for the logistic management, you will have third party suppliers to contractors, which comes under supplier domain. So all these are part of the master data. So you can see master data touch points are everywhere in your, and that's what makes it important to scope it out, which master data domain you need to first address and then expand from there. Now let's look at one example. Like for example, how do you identify that customer data is important for your organization? How do you tie that back to scope it out properly to your business processes? As you can see on the screen, master data, customer data can be used in all your business process, starting from lead to opportunity to quote to order booking, fulfillment, support, and contract renewal. During the first few steps in this process, you will deal with the prospect data, which is nothing but the customers which are not yet defined buying relationship with your organization, but they're just a prospect. Then from quoting onwards, they will become your buying customer data, and then after that, it can be service or warranty that will come as a service customer. Now, all these data sets can reside into three different systems based on your system landscape of your organization, and that's when the single source of truth comes into picture, where you should be able to tie these customers back to a single golden record, and then get that customer 360 view. Along with the customer, there can be related objects as well. For example, contact, which can also be common across all these three systems. So you need a system, you need to build the rules and the platform which should tie all this data together and give you one 360-degree view of all your customer data. Now, if you just dig deep into these details, if you see that customer names are similar, but you need a lot of manual checking and intervention to find out whether they're really same customer or not. That's where your technology comes into the MDM tool set that you want to use, that will help you identify these duplicates and consolidate data at one place. So that was about scope. Now let's move on to the next step, which is metrics. How do you link this data, master data, to the business out? So this is example again of customer master data. And if you see on the left hand side, you start from the top to bottom. First of all, you need to identify what is the business outcome that you desire, and how do you tie that back to performance metrics or business process KPIs, and then dive deep into which data points are driving those business process KPIs and performance metrics. For that, you need to go into the process and talk to stakeholders, understand the process touch points, and then come up with kind of a matrix which will tie back all these data points all the way up to the measurable business outcomes. So if you see this example here at the bottom, you have all the touch points in various process of your selling process through multiple channels. Let's say it goes through sales, order process, support, and everywhere the customer data plays a very crucial role. Now that can be tied back to the business benefit, which can be again focused on specific areas. For example, I want to improve the data quality during the customer entry. I want to do more upsell based on my customer data, or it can be I want to have the same customer data across multiple business units, as well as it can be as a customer lifecycle management. I need to provide more support to the customer. All these becomes your top three focus area that you need to address, and based on that, you can derive your outcomes, because master data outcomes cannot be directly linked to the application data or your actual transaction data. data. So for example, master data governance can support effective conversion of prospect to buying customer by reducing the customer setup time by so and so percentage and improving the customer accuracy of customer data, that thereby increasing order fulfillment. So that's what you need to tie your master data points to your order fulfillment to give you the proper business outcome. So that can be justified in your organization, and then you can get more stakeholders buying that process. All right, so metrics is a good way to identify, link the master data to the business outcome. And let's move on to the next part, which is most important part of it, is organization, people, and processes. So as we said, that master data is a combined effort for business and IT, because you need executive sponsorship to fund this program. That start with the business side. You need to identify the data owners who has say into the quality of the data, designing the data management policy. You need to set up some governance board as well who can contribute to this data management policies. And you need operation team to monitor the data going forward as part of your governance. And then MDM team can be a centralized team. We can have the participation from business along with the infrastructure team, which is like most technically enabling this solution with the help of all the data quality rules, system management, data standards that you have to set up. All right, so this is a people and process all tied together plays a very important role in your MDM operating model. Going to the last part of it is data governance, which becomes a strategic component of your MDM operating model. So I just refer to this diagram from Data Governance Institute. So again, data governance is important part of it, where you have to understand when establish the process, how to define the rules, who are the stakeholders who will be doing your job to govern the data, and then what are the different decision rights, accountability, control mechanism that you have to set up to ultimately achieve the mission that you have set it up for it. Because governance is sounds like it is kind of a data policing. If you put it in that way, then it will become difficult. It will be difficult for you to get the stakeholders buy-in. So for that, you always have to understand that how to approach data governance. Basically, the governance is very important for, because there is no lack of owner, there is no ownership for the data elements in the organization. There are siloed approach for data quality. There are multiple systems operating on their own with their own pace, with their own data quality management. So the challenges that we're going to face is how to quantify the value of data governance to the stakeholders, how to get them involved into data governance process, and thereby introduce a change management. We have to change the landscape as well sometimes to build the proper governance process, and you have to document everything. So these are the challenges that generally are faced as part of data governance. But the key to that drill down to the four aspects. One is identify the business value, involve the stakeholders without a bureaucratic approach, understand their pain points, and then drive the governance solution around those pain points rather than going one way out to the stakeholders. And then again, communicate. The communication is a key for any MDM implementation as well as data governance. Over communication is not underrated. You have to over communicate these points again and again across the organization. It has to go across functional. You have to reward the data owners for the good work that they are doing in the governance area. Again, the technology again is the important part. You have to have multi-domain support where you can build a governance for specific MDM domain, and then that can be extended to the other areas as well. Again, you have to plan for this. The change management plan has to be considered as part of the governance and data management. Again, you have to think big but start small. Start with the smaller domain and then extend to the multiple domains as you go forward. So the last piece that comes to here is most important is the technology. So as I've been saying, you need to have for each steps, you need to have the technology that will support all your implementation approach. So for example, Chainsys provides this smart data platform where we have everything in one place, including the integration part of it, which is handled by DataZap. DataZen is our master data management data quality toolset, which gets integrated with your analytics and reporting, and it can integrate to all the other systems that you might have. And along with the team, we have done multiple times for multiple clients. We can help you guys to provide the proper data management framework. You can start small and then you can extend with the tool set that we have. Again, just a little bit about DataZen. What DataZen is actually based on 5 different principles: get clean, stay clean. So we can help you get your data clean in your organization as part of a digital transformation. We can help you stay clean, and as well as we can help you build the master data governance, which can feed into your enterprise data management and business analytics. So some of the features of the DataZen, it is no programming, configuration based implementation, which adds a very quick quick time to value, as well as it has all the auditing and review screen capabilities that you can review all your data, which governance activities, as well as you can integrate with multiple systems using the out of box integration that I will. With that, I will just pause. I know that might have gone a few minutes over, but Caroline, over to you if there are any questions.
Thank you, Sachin. So now we've come to the Q&A session. Please shoot in your questions in the Q&A box below. We have just 5 minutes to go for Q&A. So my first question, Sachin, as part of digital transformation, when we are migrating MDM data from legacy to destination ERP systems, what is a typical approach or process to cleanse and consolidate the data as part of the get clean process? And what are the activities expected from data stakeholders or businesses?
All right, that's a great question. And I know that we should go into that detail, but because of time crunch, I could not talk about those points. But fortunately, might have some slides in the appendix. I probably want to just go through that. So this is our typical process for data quality as part of get clean and stay clean, where we start with extraction of data, profiling, automated cleansing, standardization, and matching and deduplication. Now, as part of this process, where are the stakeholders that are involved is probably can be seen on this slide. So we start with the extraction, we do the mapping of the data, and this is where you see on the right hand side, these are all the blue color boxes where generally we involve business. So business will be involved in review of the profile data that we uncover. Then they can provide us some rules to do data standardization, cleansing, for example. And again, the tool set comes with the deduplication, automated deduplication report, where business can review that data, approve some rules for automated merging, as well as do some adjustments there. And then finally, when it gets migrated to your ERP systems as part of the digital transformation, or go back to the original system, business can again get a chance to review those data. So business is very much involved as part of this process. Wherever it is required to see, there are different areas where we outline what is the business responsibilities, what are the SMEs roles that can contribute to this entire process. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one quick question, maybe one last question. How can an MDM tool like Changes platform help from auditing and compliance perspective as a part of data governance?
Sure. So as we said, governance is one of the major requirements when we implement MDM. So what we need is a tool which can track each and every activity, as from your customer, for example, customer or supplier onboarding to making any changes. So there should be a single place where we can generate some report to identify when the master data was created or updated in the system. For example, if you see on the screen, this is a typical master data view from Datazen application, wherein you can put a request for any changes and you can track the changes right from when the request was submitted, all the levels of approvals and collection, and finally when it gets interfaced to your golden hub. This is a typical report generally that we generate, which can be used for any SOX reporting or audit reporting as well, where you can see every request that has been created with the timestamp, who created that request, what kind of changes were done, and who reviewed that changes, all the way until it is finally approved. So these kind of reports are already available out of box from the application, which can help with compliance.
Thank you, Sachin. We've almost come to the end. Any other questions from the audience? Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. And I thank you, Sachin, for giving us such an insightful presentation on master data management. Thank you all and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, everyone.